What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this video, guys. So we're talking about Caleb Farley is today's topic. Caleb Farley, right? Definitely a guy that I was high on early on in the draft process. You guys probably heard me say a couple times that if I was only judging the film and then the long-term projections of what the player could be, he would probably be my cornerback number one, even though I really love Surtain, and I'm a really big fan of the way that J.C. Horn plays the game. I really think that all three of these corners are going to be pretty good in the league, to be quite honest, but I will admit, Caleb Farley's film is the one that really shouts out to me like this guy could be potentially really, really, really good in the NFL.
Down here's Fink on the inside, running the corner out, clear out by the outside too. He's got man-to-man.
So, speaking of his film, what do you like? What do you see immediately, guys? It's the prototypical size: 6'1", 6'2", about 205 to 210. He's probably somewhere in that range. He's a bigger physical corner. Here's the deal, though. And saying all that, when I really broke down this film, I noticed, like, man, I don't see a lot of man coverage snaps here, and I don't see a lot of press. Like, I hardly see any press at all. So I went to go check to make sure I was seeing this correctly. And right off the bat, I ended up finding out, guys, he only had 58 man press snaps on the season back in 2019, which is interesting to say the least, right? He looks like he's got the physical abilities and the makeup to be a man press corner, but he doesn't have the requisite experience, and that was the very first thing that kind of popped off to me about the film, and then the deeper analytics as I kind of went and took a look at what was going on.
From the 46, second down, Davis scans, he gets out, sideline toss.
Now, I'll tell you right now the game I went to go check out and I went to go break down. I went to go check out the Notre Dame game in Chase Claypool, and boy, I was treated to a very, very good matchup. As a matter of fact, if you really want to get a feel for who Caleb Farley is, go back and watch the Notre Dame game back from 2019 and watch the matchup between him and Chase Claypool. They really went at each other, and it was one of the best games I had an opportunity to watch, guys. I'm a huge fan of it.
List of big wins with the Tech defense, rushing three here. Book out of the pocket, taking a shot towards Claypool, a lot of contact.
I can tell you that one of the first things I noticed right off the bat from studying his film, guys, is that he is very, very good at shooting his hips and basically kind of like getting to the ball, right? Playing the ball in front of him. He's definitely got that zone kind of corner to him, but he's immediately what I noticed is when I compared him to like a Patrick Surtain, or I compared him to like Raequan Williams, who's another guy I'm really high on. I thought that he was much better than those two guys at shooting his hips and driving on the football in front of him.
Play with a pump fake and didn't have it on the other side. And now watch Claypool get off the ground. Have to get back up and hustle. That's
To the left hip of Book. Four in the pattern. Book scrambles, directs, and fires sideline, contested catch.
As a matter of fact, I think that's one of the things I would say that him and J.C. Horn kind of have in common with each other, is that they'll fight back to the football better than the other two guys do. Although I do think that if you looked at Raequan Williams, you looked at Patrick Surtain, you're talking about two very technically sound corners, right? Caleb Farley, I would argue, maybe not the most fundamentally sound corner yet. I think there's a lot of growth that can happen here when you look at Caleb Farley. That's what makes him appealing to me.
Mentally to get him back to a confidence place here today. Second throw was covered, so Book pulls it down, takes off, and throws incomplete.
Because I do see things on films like where he gets caught with a high-low concept. They high-load him, and they got a nice kind of little, it was like an in, kind of one of these little in and out kind of little sneaked routes that basically got him with Chase Claypool.
Starting offensive line, Josh Lugg will come in for now. This is 2nd and 11. Book throwing downfield for Claypool.
watch the out and up now. He goes to the flat. There's the jump by Farley. He couldn't get his hands on the jam after.
That's an indication of a guy that's playing really well, but you got to learn when a team's trying to high-low you and how they're trying to manipulate you and play the field. So that gives you an idea of like, wow, this kid is really talented already, and there's still growth that can occur here. No doubt about it. I definitely saw at times where, just kind of sticking to critiquing his play a little bit here, guys. I thought there were times he didn't get his head around on the football, to be quite honest. Like, he had decent positioning. It just didn't look back for the football. Something he's got to get better at, because to be honest with you, I thought in terms of tracking the football, I thought he was much better than a Surtain, much better than a Raequan Williams. Like, I thought he tracked the football fairly well, but I will say there were times where he was kind of going up against more of the taller, physical, receivers or tight ends, and you can see that sometimes he gets in that element of like, okay, I'm just going to play through the hands instead of turning around and trying to play the football.
On the play, gain of 4 on the bad spot from first down. It's booked for McKinley. Goes up.
So I did notice that on his film a little bit, guys, and it definitely stood out to me when it came to this Notre Dame film. But what I will tell you is this, guys. He is a great zone drop cornerback. It's really difficult to really key in and tell you guys when there's a good drop, but it's about your depth and it's about the way you're playing it, right? That's what makes him impressive. So like on one hand, like I said, there are times where he gets high load, but there are other times where his depth, is just feel for the football game, is incredible. And he's in the right window, and it causes things to happen on the football field. Whether he's directly the result of it or not, he's impacting the play enough to create things like turnovers.
5 to 17. 5 in the pattern. Book.
The route. Komet in the flat. He doesn't have it, but he's getting pressure.
That's one thing I really loved about his film, as I was kind of looking in at it. Once again, guys, like I said, when you go to like the man-to-man kind of stuff, I did see a couple times on his film where I thought he showed the ability to be there. But I will tell you, I have a hard time judging his mirroring skills, just because he didn't play enough man-to-man for me, and he didn't play enough man-press for me to really judge how good he is at mirroring receivers. I didn't see anything like really concerning on the film. I don't have anything to just tell you guys like, oh, beware here. I'm not saying that, guys. I'm just saying I didn't see enough on the film to say yay or nay or go any direction really with that, guys. So that's just something to kind of pay attention to, is something like that.
Receivers, they're getting like man-on-man coverage. You can throw some comebacks and things on these guys.
Deep shot for Claypool. It's up in the air.
What I will tell you is just speaking on the fact of breaking on the football, right? Playing the ball in front of you, driving on the football, watching the way that this young man plays the flats, holy crap.
2nd and 9. He fakes it to Smith. Looking for anybody open and just...
I even at one point in my notes, guys, the only words I wrote down were, oh my. Like, he really does a good job of identifying when teams are trying to get the ball out to the flats. And there's a reason why he was so freaking good in throws under 10 yards.
Goes up and gets it. Chapman pulls it down.
From the 44, Book will pull it down. He's being pursued. He throws it to...
When you looked at the range of throws between 1 to 9 yards, guys, on the season for 2019, mind you, he opted out last year. When you look at that, guys, there were 18 attempts and only 8 completions. Quarterback's opposing passing rating against him was only a 32.2. He had an 81.6 coverage grade. He was really good on the year, guys. As a matter of fact, to look at, between 10 and 19 yards, 12 targets, 1 completion, 4 forced incompletions, a 4.9 passer rating suffered, 83.9 coverage grade. He was really freaking good, guys. On 15 targets above 20 yards, right? 4 completions. He forced 3 incompletions. He only gave up 1 touchdown. Suffered a 47.8 passer rating, really good, and had a coverage grade still of a 74.4. I really, really like Caleb Farley, guys. My concern with Caleb Farley is I think he can play with a little bit of reckless abandon at times, and he'll get called for penalties that are unnecessary, because I thought he had proper body positioning. I thought he was on the right spot on the field.
Fink was trying on the scramble drill to escape, and
holding
Farley got
defense number 3.
But he gets so freaking aggressive at times that it'll result in a penalty. I think he's got to reel that back a little bit at the pros and just learn to be a professional. Know when you've already won. Know when you've won the matchup. And don't do anything to give those guys an opportunity. And to be honest with you, I thought he was pretty good at defending the deep shots. He only gave up 1 touchdown and 4 completions on the year. But I will tell you, there were times where I thought, like, you look at a guy like Chase Claypool, who's really gifted at this, and I thought there was a little back and forth, right? Like, he, definitely, Caleb Farley won a few times, and definitely a couple times you could see clearly on the film that, Chase Claypool came away as the victor on that route stem, on the, that development, that progression going down there. He won that.
Alluding to before the half. Use their speed and their young eyes against them. Book, shot play, end zone, Claypool, overthrown and intercepted.
And to be honest with you, it's kind of crazy because this is, you hope that all your films, when you go to analyze them, have this kind of play to them, right? Where you have a legit NFL receiver playing against what I consider to be a legit NFL corner, even in college, and you can clearly see these two are going to be that, and you can grade the film. I wish every prospect had this type of film to easily grade. It doesn't normally work out this way, guys. It's part of the reason why I'm so freaking high on Caleb Farley, to be quite honest. I will get into a little bit of the nuances of things here, guys, for you, and I'll tell you that another criticism you could launch of him, guys, is I don't recall any snaps. I didn't see anything where I saw him playing playing the slot receiver. Basically, I didn't see him as a nickel, and I really didn't see him carry to the right side of the defense. He always seemed to pretty much line up on the left side. I didn't see a lot of versatility in that. So, I mean, it's not necessarily like a bad thing per se, guys, but something to note. He didn't really carry around the field. He just kind of like stayed on one side of the field. But hey, man, he kind of locked it down on that side of the field. So it's kind of hard to really say anything or to criticize it, guys. Fit and feel, he'll be a really good zone cornerback. He's got some development that probably needs to happen in man. I mean, he's just not very experienced, guys. He's only had 58 snaps of man press. Now, he played man a little more than that. There's different versions of man. But with that said, guys, like, he's got some development to go there. I think a team that maybe runs more cover 3, runs a little bit of cover 2, maybe not, I think he can play some man, but I think you have to kind of walk him into the man experience stuff. So if you got a zone-heavy team, I think that Caleb Farley is going to fit fairly well in any kind of zone cover system, guys. I just think he's that type of quarterback. The last thing I will say about Caleb Farley is the only reason that I have this guy's film as me in the long-term projection as being my number one corner, but yet I'm probably a little higher right now on Surtain, who I don't think has the same ceiling level that Caleb Farley does. I think Caleb Farley's ceiling is a little higher than Surtain's, to be quite honest. The drawback here is that there are some injury concerns and some experience concerns with Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley was like a quarterback and a wide receiver in high school. He thought he was going to be this, yak guy, yards after the catch wide receiver going into college. Spent about a year as a wide receiver. Then he transitioned into cornerback. So you already got issues with experience. But that's also a positive because although he doesn't have a ton of experience playing, he's already playing pretty freaking high. He's already playing at a really high level already. The other side to this, guys, is, like I said, he had a non-contact ACL injury. I want to say it was like around his sophomore year or something like that, I think. He ended up basically suffering an ACL injury at some point. It was a non-contact. I don't even think it was really even on the football field in any shape, form, or way. That's a little concerning. And then he had something done. I don't know if it was a meniscus disc or something happened, guys, with a procedure to his back. That's happened recently. I think that it's holding him out of workouts right now. I've heard some people say it's not a big deal. I'm not a doctor, guys, and I don't know the particulars of the surgery. I probably should know a little bit more about Caleb Farley because I do believe that he was a prep All-American here in North Carolina. I just don't. He didn't cross me, guys. I mean, he was definitely playing football around the time I was coaching. I never crossed paths, guys. I just don't know him that well. But, injury concerns, that'd be the issue here, right? Is like, you got to get him cleared. He's got to clear those hurdles. I'm not saying that he won't clear them, guys. I don't know. I'm taking the road here. I'm deferring this, if you will. I'm not going to weigh in on this because I really don't know anything about it. All right, guys, that's what I got for y'all today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Link is in the description below. Don't forget, other ways you can support the channel, guys, is just by simply liking and commenting on the video. That's what spikes the algorithm and has this suggested to other people to watch. And last but not least, guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I don't care if you support a team that is or is not the Eagles. If you just want to be a part of the community and be a part of a community that does a lot of film and a lot of advanced analytics and talk back and forth, guys, we'd love to add you to the community. Hit that subscription button, guys. hit that subscribe button. All right, guys. Peace. I'm out here. I'll see you guys on the next video.